Hello, welcome to the audio blog Ways to Calm Yourself When Life Gets to Be Tough. Life will get to many of us, and there are many days where sometimes, even if you are the best at what you do at calming yourself down, it just gets difficult and hard to relax yourself and calm yourself down. And I wanted to share a few of the tips that have worked for me, that have worked for my patients and the clients that I've worked with for over 20 years. Number one, walk. Walking helps clear your mind. It offers you a different perspective. I live in Orlando, Florida, and many of you know that I love the water. So what I do is I go around the lake. There's a lake behind my house where I walk around that lake and I see the birds, the water, and the trees. It just helps to calm and relax my mind. Number two, indulge. Take a day off to spend a whole day doing exactly what you want. And guess what? Sometimes it's just doing nothing. Have you ever taken a day like that? Mental health day where you just don't do anything. I've talked to people that will take a day off and then they work harder than they do when they're working at work, and yet it's supposed to be a day off to relax. So make it a point to just take a mental health day that is just a day to indulge in yourself. Number three, be generous. Give something to a total stranger. Acts of giving make us feel warm and fuzzy inside. I like that notion where people will go to places like Dunkin' Donuts and then they pay for it and pay for the guy behind them, and they say, you know what, whatever they want, let them know that it's been paid for. I've done that myself too, and I love it. And people have done that for me where I'm just not even expecting it. I'm looking at my wallet to pay for my coffee, and they say, oh, it's been paid for. I'm like, oh, somebody did. So paid forward, be generous. Number four, sit in a coffee shop or busy street and just soak yourself up with the surroundings, right? Where you don't have to talk to people. You just look and just observe people moving around and, walking around. I like doing that at the park, again, where I just sit down and, look around, and I don't even have a book and I'm not listening to anything. Just sitting there, just, looking around. Well, it's hot right now. I don't know where you are, but I'm in Florida. It's really burning hot. So make sure you find the shade. Don't sit out in, right in the sun and not have the shade, because then it's way too hot. Number five, educate yourself. Research what it is that you're experiencing, in life, whether it's a death and you're going through grief, or, you're going through divorce, whatever difficulty or challenge that you're going through now, just research and find, other resources that can help you to deal with that, problem that you're going through or the challenge that you're going through. Preparation. Write the day's to-do list in the evening before. I actually write my 1 week's to-do list a week before, because I have a schedule. I have patients that I see. I also have deadlines of books and programs that I create. So I write myself the day-to-day things that I need to do in order to meet each deadline. I'm also a motivational speaker, so I get called to speak virtually or speak in person or do trainings in person. I have to prepare for all those trainings and all those speeches. So that, again, has to be on my calendar. So what happens is, when it's on my calendar for that day, I don't do anything else, see the patients that I'm supposed to see, and then get on the computer and start preparing for the presentations, or, even finish up books or do recordings for the programs. So prepare yourself the day before with a to-do list. And if you're like me, go through the week. Number seven, strengths. Write down a list of 20 of your strengths. Every time I'm at a workshop or I'm, talking to a client and I say, can you, for next week, write down 20 of your strengths? They look at me like, what? 20? I'm like, that's nothing. You should have hundreds of strengths. So just write 20. So I'm going to challenge you. Write 20 of your strengths. Number 8, keep going forward. Keep taking small steps no matter what. Being stagnant doesn't serve you. It also means you have to have a goal a vision or something that you want to do or that you're doing. You don't have to run a business, write a book or anything. Even plowing and planting in your garden, even, cleaning your closets, even cleaning your house is a goal that you literally can write down and write the steps that you will take. Because many people, when they hear me speak, they're like, well, I don't have a business, and I don't intend to have a business, and that's fine. Or I don't have a job, I'm retired, and that's okay. But find something to do, because you just don't want to sit there and get bored, because then every problem that's on earth will creep up on you because now you have all this time. Number 9, revisit an old hobby. If you don't have one, create one. What is it that you've loved to do, that you wish you could do, that you just want to have time to do, but you never have time? Make time for it. Make time to do that which you enjoy and love. Number 10, prioritize. Decide what's important right now and say no to any extra obligations. And there will always be extra obligations. Say no so that you can keep at doing what it is that you're supposed to do. Time is of essence, I tell you. And many a time we don't realize how much we are so wasteful of time. I know one of the things that I used to do back in the days before I started really honing onto myself and, making sure that I don't do that, was I would sit there and just go through the phone on social media and then read other people's blogs. And then before I know it, it's 2-3 hours already that I've been doing that. I said, oh. So that's special time. And I don't waste my time like that anymore. Number 11, sleep. Get enough rest. Sleep at least 7 to 9 hours each night. No exceptions. This is your self-care. This is something that is a need. It's not a want. You need good sleep. Number 12, be silly. Do something that you did as a child and just don't take life too seriously. I like to play board games because board games usually will make me, be childlike. I'm in that sense, in that state when I'm playing board games that I'm just laughing and everybody's laughing. And when you play with my nieces and nephews, boy, they cheat. Well, they'll tell you auntie cheats, but I don't. They cheat. Number 13, cry. Releasing all that emotion that is pent up in you is also very cathartic. You'll feel better if you do take some time to cry. And yes, men cry too, so please allow yourself to cry. Number 14, check your self-talk. How do you talk to yourself? Anything that is negative, it doesn't help you. So try not to talk to yourself in a negative way or scare yourself off. So I'm always checking, what am I telling myself? What am I saying to myself? Because you just feel your energy shifting. You just feel your mind shifting. And you know that you're telling yourself something, or you just read something, or you heard something. So check what you're telling yourself. Self-talk is key. 15, journal. You know me. I'm always talking about journaling. I'm always talking about writing. Write it down. Develop a habit of journaling. This will help you free your mind, but it also helps you come up with some ideas that you probably didn't even think about before you started writing. Number 16, remind yourself that life is a journey. Remember, what you're going through is only temporary. I always say to myself, this too shall pass. And number 17, connect with the right people that will help keep your energy up, that will help you deal with situations that you're going through now and make it easier. And if possible, connect with a counselor or even a coach and talk to a professional about it. I am a counselor and a coach, as you know. But guess what? I love talking to fellow counselors and even my family, my sisters, or even just friends whenever I'm going through and I'm feeling down. And just talking to them really helps me, and I get to laugh and I get to cry and I get to just, talk about what's going on, and then they make, talk some sense into me. And that's when I began to understand years ago, when I started doing that for myself and said, you know what? And yes, I do talk to a therapist and a counselor as well. So and it's always good to have a counselor who talks to counselors, because then, that means they're also taking care of their own emotions and life issues as well. But when I started talking and I started utilizing that, I understood why people always say, DrStem, every time I talk to you, I feel much better. I feel so much relieved, when I talk to you. So now I understood it, because I knew that, talking is actually releasing some pent up, energy and also emotions that you might have. But then life happens and it's a journey. So there will be ups and downs. There will be happy moments and sad moments. Do not allow the sad moments and the downtime to take more of your time. So fight yourself way into the places where you're more relaxed and, not stressed out a lot more. So I hope these tips will help you and they're helpful. Share with me either email or even down below this video some of the tips that you use, so that we can all share, because then what works for one person might not work for another person. So some of these tips might not work for you. What works for you, share with us. I would love to hear from you what works.